Why SGC Will Fail by ZiggyNo. Now, I'll be honest, I've remade this video several times. I want to be polite, and I also want to try to be helpful, but I want to lay down some honest facts here. SGC does not authenticate autographs. That blows my mind, okay? That's really the premise of what this video is going to be about and why that's so important. Let me take you back a few years ago. People didn't grade cards very much. They didn't. It just took too much time. It just wasn't a thing. It was a different world, okay? When they did do it, they did it mainly for resale value, or they were doing it for set collecting. So you had two reasons you collect it. Most people were doing autographs. They sent them to BGS, Beckett. If they were doing set registry stuff, vintage, they sent it to PSA. They also sent vintage to SGC, okay? That's a few years ago. During the boom, everything became about money, and the grading companies couldn't support it, so they shut down. And you know, Peter, at the time, that was a director, gets on Cardboard Chronicles and says, hey, we'll take it all. Man said it to me. This is probably March 2020, April, March, May, somewhere in there, spring of 2020. That video made his career. He became, you know, he's now vice president, CEO right now, whatever. It's that video did it for him. I mean, he really did. He put it on the table and said, let's do it. And they flooded him, and there were a lot of lessons learned. He used high pricing to throttle things back. They've been through a lot in the last few years, and they've grown a lot. They've done a lot of great things as far as a company where, again, they were like a third option, a very distant third option, right? Beckett is not even an option anymore, man. And SGC is probably second in many people's opinion when they look to grading cards. Most of the time they're grading modern cards, autograph cards, RPAs, whatever. I didn't realize, again, when you get an auto grade, they're just giving you the opinion of the auto grade. Like you get a 10 on the auto grade from SGC, just mean, hey, I think the auto's great. It doesn't mean the auto's real, guys. Think about that. Now that blows my mind because I'm like, well, why would you grade the auto? You're just giving me a second opinion on the auto. Auto's a 10, great. Think about that. Now, why is that important, guys? When I look at where we are in this hobby and all the corrections and the changes, a few things are important. I talked about this earlier. People care about history and autographs. An autograph from a player, I guess started, I think it was Babe Ruth era, but it was as if you met the player, you get a proof that I met him. I saw him, here I am. Now today we take a picture, an image, I met him, and whatever it is. But that autograph had some tangibility, but it also has some legality behind it, laws about counterfeiting, misuse of autographs rose up and protect that autograph. So that adds a lot of provenance and value to an autograph when you can say where it came from, how you got it, and it's really authentic. Now, my understanding, I thought all the companies did this, but no, I know Beckett does it. No, PSA does it. I believe CCG does it as well. Please let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they authenticate autographs as well. Peter goes on the video and talks about that there's no plan to do this. And this is another reason why I say that I am calling it done on SGC. Like, you recognize you don't do it, and your explanation is you're going to focus on what you do well. Well, my response to you is, and where do you think you're going to be in 10 years? Where are you going to be in 5 years? People have already started looking at magazine authentications and grading. Funko Pops is one that I'm interested in, authentications and grading, ticket stubs, you name it. There's gonna be so many different things, and an autograph, memorabilia, adding an autograph to any one of those things and not be able to authenticate it. Like, so for example, is SGC's future is that we'll give you an opinion on your Funko Pop, you got autograph, like, hey man, looks great to me. Like, think about this, guys. And they're not making those investments. They've made no investment in a registry, right? CCG came out with a registry. PSA has a registry. Beckett, still no registry. They're not planning, and they're not listening. I know, again, a lot of YouTube channels are big fans of Peter's. A lot of them are sponsored by him. I think he's very active in spending money on YouTube. I'm not kidding. I can think of 3 or 4 channels that are CSG sponsored sites. And I will say to you guys, am I wrong? Don't you think autograph authentication is more important in this hobby than an opinion of the grade? And don't you think that it's lazy of SGC not to take money or invest into something like autograph authentication? I don't know. That really turned me off, really surprised me. So in summary, I'll say one last thing I caught from the Lucas Tigers and Braun video. The lack of awareness as a company of where SGC is. Like, they talk about how they dropped their price and they were planning to drop it weeks ahead of advance, and they had planned off this date. They didn't have it planned because they had forgotten that New York Comic Con happened to be happening this weekend. Like, they weren't at New York Comic Con, so it wasn't like it was on their radar. But PSA was at New York Comic Con. So it makes sense. If I'm following PSA as my competitor, I know, hey, they have New York Comic Con coming up. They'll probably do announcements of this. Maybe I should wait till after theirs. It's just an idea, right? Again, it's this lack of foresight that I just feel like is missing. And I see this in other companies, and I hope them well. And I hope this video is taken as warning and maybe a nudge in the right direction. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to hear in a few days that SGC is going to start doing autograph authentication. But after listening to the video the other day, that's not on their radar. And that tells me that I'm not going to be investing my resources or time / money with SGC. Thoughts, comments are appreciated.